I look at
Yeah.
injury now as a way to throw out the bad and increase the good and then grow the pure and the things that are going to help us for the rest of our lives. It's like a second chance.
Hi, I'm Celia and I'm here with Chaffin. And today on Pop Robot TBI, we're going to do an interview of Chaffin. I'm so glad Chaffin's here with us today and showed up for her interview. And I want to ask, this is actually a serious topic. Um, when people have a head trauma and their healing journey, sometimes they'll have an additional accident affecting their head, or just a simple like hitting their head like a normal person would hit their head and not get a TBI. But because you already have a TBI, it will throw you off. And Chafin had an experience recently that I would like to have her talk about and how it can affect someone who already has a head injury. If you don't mind speaking on that, Chafin.
Well, it literally happened 4 hours ago. So, as you guys know, I've had, or I don't know if you know this, but I've had quite a few concussions. So, even just like a tiny little bump to my head again can really affect it. And I've been getting so much better. And if I get like a little bump when I'm in the car, it no longer affects me. It's amazing. But today, someone gave me a hug and they smacked their head against my head. And it wasn't like a little bump. Like usually I can get over just like a little head bump, like little hug smack. This is like a real big smack. Like my head still hurts from it. And it was in the back, so it like knocked my head forward. My initial reaction was just like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, and like trying to convince myself I'm fine. Because in the past, when I had these bumps and my head wasn't so great, it could set me back a day to 2 days to a week to 2 weeks. Right now, it's 4 hours later. Within an hour of it, I was not okay. I was not seeing clearly. I was really fighting panicking, like I'm talking about right now, and I'm fighting panicking right now. It's scary because it's like those past experiences of of what have I experienced. Like that's what comes to my mind and my body. And I've been like today after having that bump, I've been allowing myself to try and feel those feelings so that I can process them and then release them. So I think I just have more feelings to feel. Um, Sorry, I'm gonna cry. It's just like it's really scary having. It's just like a tiny little bump, but a little tiny bump can set me back from for so long, and I do not believe it's gonna set me back right now. Like I truly believe, as Celia and I say, like this is happening for me, and I while I may not know the actual why behind it, what I'm telling myself is this little bump is going to show me how resilient I am because I really have come so far and I haven't had a little bump to my head in months. So I don't know how I respond really since I've been improving so much over these past months. So it's just like walking myself through the belief that everything is going to be okay. Like it is going to be okay. But in that it's truly it's like I gotta feel the feelings to be able to get to the belief that I'm okay.
Wow, thank you so much. Yeah, it's like in life, we don't know what's going to happen, but especially with a head injury and with setbacks or additional head bumps, we don't know, like, we don't want to lose the progress we've already made because we work really, 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 really hard for the progress we've made.
Yeah.
Um, and I like that you said, you know, we don't know the why, but like these things are happening for us. I am just so grateful that you shared about that because I know this is like something, a common thing I hear about with head injury people. It's definitely scary. I know I have another friend in our situation who recently got in another car accident, and it was a bad car accident. And so it was just a couple of days ago, and then I just sent her like prayers and kind words, and I'm just like, I don't live in fear of that happening to me, luckily at this time, but that's like a definite like universe wake up call when you keep getting the repeated. Well, like for you, Chafin, you've had the repeated injuries. So you really probably have a lot more fear there,
Yeah.
like than I do, because I just have had the one.
I will say though, what I've been learning, like it is to not fear because I don't necessarily know what will happen. So like I could wake up and I could be completely fine tomorrow. Where in the past, I kind of knew what was going to happen. I knew it would be a week. I knew it would be 2 weeks. But even with that, um, it's like I can't necessarily change it. So why fight it? It's like why sink into the fear? Like I'm all about, as I said, processing it. Even, I mean, I don't know if you could tell, I teared up a little bit. Like even just that tearing up, I literally felt my chest kind of lighten just a little bit. Just like my body processed some of that fear right now. Looks like you're going to say something.
I mean, I completely agree. Yeah. I was going to say, as far as I think your attitude is perfect. And um, it's just like the reminder that where our attention goes, energy grows. And so if we put our attention towards the fear of oh no, my symptoms could get worse, then the brain might get on board with that and start acting worse. Like that's my experience. So I think
Can
your
I, can I
attitude
repeat that?
perfect. Yeah.
Where attention goes, energy grows. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That is powerful.
Yeah. And
Wow.
and I've seen it be true over and over. Um, and I've heard other people say it's not like I just invented that, um, but yeah, so you have a choice. Like there's a lot of ways you could handle that bump, and um, I'm really proud of where you're at today and how you're handling it. And that right after this call, you're gonna give herself some extra self-care and rest.
And again, I do want to point out what I think has been helping me so much. So many things have been helping me grow. But one thing, Celia and I believe that the body keeps the score. So it's like if you have unprocessed feelings, trauma, um, if you go into the fight or flight or freeze state, the sympathetic state, and you stay there for a little bit and your body isn't able to release it, our body holds on to that. There's a lot of books out there on it. One book is called literally The Body Keeps the Score. Great book. But yeah, so it's like I had a bump to my head and I definitely went into the sympathetic nervous system with like freezing, panicking. Um, so when I don't necessarily know how everyone else has feelings arise, but for me, it's like this growing feeling and of like I want to panic or I want to cry or like want to feel depressed or like I want to eat cookies or watch TV, like anything to numb the pain. And what I've learned, and like it gets so big, it scares me. It's like, oh, I don't want to step into that. I want to just numb the pain. I want to numb the feelings because it looks so scary. But what I realized, like just right now, in actually sitting in the feeling and actually experiencing the feeling, it's way smaller than I thought. Like I've had some really intense feel the feelings, and it usually lasts max an hour. Like when I legit let myself feel the feelings and I cry it all out. Like it could last way longer. I'm not saying that an hour is a long time. I'm just saying for me personally, like what I think is this all consuming energy that's going to just destroy me and wipe out the rest of my future. And it literally is just like a feeling that needs to be felt. And so the new thing that I tell myself is, I like look at the feeling internally. I'm like, all right, fear, I am big enough to hold you. I am big enough to hold space and to feel you. I've got you. Let it out. I'm here for you. And I just like allow myself to feel it. And I imagine myself holding the fear and like, like rocking it like a little baby. And then I get it out however I need to, if that's crying, laughing, going on a walk, calling a friend and talking it out, whatever. But it's like, it's just so much easier afterwards. It just lifts off my shoulders.
That's amazing. So, okay, so um, if there's unprocessed unprocessed or over-processed emotions or traumas trapped in your body, and then they physically manifest. And so one way they could physically manifest is an accident, like a bump on the head. Um, do you agree with that, Chafin?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with it, so therefore you have to agree with it. Just kidding.
We are of one mind.
Well, it's like, so it's like, it's not just, oh, you got bumped on the head. It's kind of like a spiritual, like part of the awakening to, oh, let me just go into feeling my feelings and see what comes up. And then it's like you lean into like the shadow work, and it's like the whole process.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It's a
definitely
journey.
agree that. Oh, sorry, what?
It's a journey. It's a long journey. I think it's the journey of the rest of your life.
Yeah, I would agree. I would think that. Yeah. I don't necessarily know if it's like if you have unprocessed things, you're gonna have an injury. I don't know about that. But I do firmly believe that through the injuries or whatever we have, like that is going to reveal so many areas that we need to clean out and learn new things. It's like I look at
Yeah.
injuries now as a way to throw out the bad and increase the good and then grow the pure and the things that are going to help us for the rest of our lives. It's like a second chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and in some beliefs, it's like for example, Louise Hay is like, if you keep hurting your right ankle, then it means this, So that's like a whole other belief that I don't even have memorized. But there's more ways to look at something than just, oh, I got hit in the head.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I see what you mean. I totally see what you mean.
Well, thank you so much, Chafin, for sharing about this topic.
Yeah. Thanks for asking about it. Peace out.
Yeah.
Robot TBI.